Welcome back, boys. So today, a little bit of a different video once again. As you can see, it's not just my hands. I'm actually, all of me is here. Today, I just wanted to share with you guys my top 5 players that I'm looking at right now in terms of cards and in terms of card prices. Players who are on the rise, who I think are interesting to invest in maybe for future. I'm not saying they're absolute locks and their cards are quadruple in value, but I just think it's players that maybe they're starting to show their offensive potential, their defensive potential. They're just starting to get into their own, and they're beginning to show prowesses that they can hang out in the National Hockey League. So I thought it would be interesting to look at the top 5 players who I think their cards are on the rise. So starting off here with Moritz Seider at number 5 spot. Moritz Seider just this year has been killing it. He has 35 points in 66 games. A lot more assists than goals, that's for sure. But points aside, there's things that he does on the ice that aren't shown on the stat sheet. Well, Moritz Seider is one of these young guys. He's 6'4", 21 years old. He's got elite potential, and this is something that has been shown before and that we've seen. But this year, he's just taking it to another level, and this is why his card is on the rise. As you can see, there's a 27% increase in the last 30 days for his card price for his PSA 10. But this is a little bit skewed. A couple days ago, he scored a massive shorthanded goal. He just stole the puck from Pasternak, and I think that kind of shot up his value. Nonetheless, I think that Moritz Seider is a great card to invest in. He's not that expensive right now. I know he's a defenseman. Some people are reluctant to invest in defensemen, but I think that what he brings to the tables, what he brings to the Red Wings, a team that right now are not doing too hot, but in the future, they definitely seem like this kind of team that, under Stevie Y, they're building up for something greater. So I think that in the future, it could be a card that potentially explodes in value if ever the Red Wings bring a cup back home, and Moritz Seider is the leading trooper at the blue line for that. Oh my, his card will have the same trajectory as Makar. So definitely a card I think that is worth looking at and worth investing in. In the number 4 spot, we have Alex Newhook with the Colorado Avalanche. So this is Alex's 3rd season in the NHL. He's currently got 27 points in 64 games played. Not the greatest, point total. It's kind of nearing, he's been on a steady pace since last year. Last year he had 71 games played for 33 points. Although I will say he's 1 goal away from passing his scoring record right now. But Alex Newhook is just a player that's been consistent. He's with this Avs team, contributed plenty in the playoffs last year. And he's just a player that is going to be an NHL player for a really long time. There's something about the Avalanche magic that kind of makes younger players get better as they age. You can see it with McKinnon. You can see it with Rantanen. I would say Makar, but Makar has just always been insane. But Newhook is a player that started in the league young, and the more experience you have, the better it is down the run. So it's a player that really, if he can have a breakout season, whether it be with the Avalanche or another team, if he gets traded away later on, his card is definitely going to take up a little bit in value. And I will say, I'm kind of biased. This is completely stupid. There's not a reason to invest in a card, but his name, Alex Newhook, it just sounds cool. So but yeah, I think the way that he's been playing this year is just goes to show that he has potential and that he's going to keep getting better and keep improving. As you can see on the price chart, he's had a 28% increase in card value for his Young Gun PSA 10. Obviously not as big of an increase as Moritz Seider, but I think in the long run, it's going to be a slow and steady increase until he hits his peak. Who knows what that can be? Obviously, I don't think it's going to be one of the greats. If there's potential to make a profit, if you have a little bit of money on the side and you're willing to invest in a young player that has shown to have potential and that can bring a little bit of that spicy factor to a team, then I think Alex Newhook is definitely a guy to be on the lookout for. In the number 3 spot, we have, I'm not gonna say my nemesis. As a Habs fan, we drafted Kotkaniemi instead of Brady Tkachuk. Mistakes were made, but wow, what a power role has Brady Tkachuk turned into. He's been in the league for 5 years now, and he's honestly only gotten better. He's at a point per game pace this year, leading a young Ottawa team. And I think that a lot of people were expecting Ottawa to do better this year. I think that's Ottawa's been having a little bit of trouble with their goaltending, their defense injuries. They kind of got, I'm not going to say unlucky, but it did not help them this season. Despite this, Brady Tkachuk has been just doing great. He's been scoring goals. He's been there offensively. He's been, you know, throwing out hits. I think Brady kind of has that little brother syndrome, seeing Matthew Tkachuk evolve into the such a star player that he is. So I think that's pushing Brady a little bit to want to contribute more and, you know, be that bigger player for the team, for Ottawa. And therefore, he has really blossomed into a good player this year. As you can see, his Young Guns card's been up quite a lot recently, up 29% in the last month. That's almost $50 to what it was selling before. Did you miss the boat? I don't think so. I think there's still growth. He's in a market which there's a lot of people that collect Ottawa Senators card. He's a big name and he's there for a long time. He signed a big contract. So I think it's a good card to look into. Maybe the growth there won't be exponential or like explode in an instant, but it's definitely a good card to hold, and that who knows what happens in the future if he has like a crazy season, you know, more than a point per game, maybe a 100-point season. He's definitely gonna be a player which people will want to get, you know, a card of him. Continuing the trend of Ottawa players, we have Tim Stutzler, who, wow, what a player he's turned into this year. This is his third year in the league, only 21 years old, and he has been on fire. He's been dominating in assists. He's been dominating in goals. He's just, honestly, as Ottawa, the struggles they've had, he's been that constant piece in the roster. He was injured a little bit, but not too much. I think he missed a game or two. But despite that, he came back and just didn't stop. He just kept going on his pace. And because of this, you can see that his card has been up 30% in the past month, almost $50. And he's the type of player that people like. You know, he's a German with a cool name. He's in a Young Guns class that came out in a set that, you know, the Young Guns, it was kind of iffy. At first, it was all about Laffy. Now it's been all about Stutzler. So it's definitely interesting to see the shift there and the shift in the money too. So definitely a player you want to keep your eye on. Keep your eye on his card especially, and who knows what it can go to. And last but not least, if you've been watching NHL games a little bit recently, especially Devils game, you definitely knew this player was on the top of my list. Dawson Mercer. What a beast this guy has turned into. The Devils, I think not a lot of people were expecting them to be this strong this year. I think, you know, I was watching games last year and I was seeing Jack Hughes explode. And I think he was a kind of surprise. And everybody expected Jack Hughes to keep going on the pace he was going at the end of last year, this year. But for Dawson Mercer to just come out, second season at NHL, 66 games played, 49 points. It's just incredible. Ever since the start of the new year, Dawson Mercer has been a dominating force and a key player for the Devils. He's scoring big goals, he's making big passes, and he's playing big minutes. All of this just serves to explain why his card has been up so much. It's up 62%, almost $76, nearly $80. That's double the value it had recently. When he first came out, again, he's in a big Young Guns class. He's sharing the pot with Caulfield. He's sharing the pot with Zegras. You have what? Lucas Raymond, Moritz Seider. You have all these great names in this year. But then you have just Dawson Mercer out of the blue, just like a devil, like a Tasmanian devil, just rocking it out here. And with the way that the Devils are playing and the way that, you know, especially if they have a deep playoff run, I'm a Habs fan. I don't have a second team, but you know what? I wouldn't hate seeing the Devils get a cup. You know, it's been a while, so who knows? Who knows what can happen? Anyone but Toronto. He's going to be a big player for the Devils for a long time, so I think it's definitely a nice card to invest in. The market is there for him, so it's not like a player from Arizona where the market is a little bit more iffy, a little bit harder to resell. He's a hot card that's been passed around a lot recently. Some would say that the train has already departed the station to buy his card. I think, you know, better to be on the way up than on the way down, but who knows? It's not the end of the year. There's like, what, 15, 20 games left, so definitely worth to take a look at, and I don't think the risk is as high as the reward might be. So there it is, guys. That's my top 5 cards of the month of March that I've been looking at, I've been interested in. Obviously, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to just buy every card of these 5 players that you see, but I think it's good just as a reminder to keep your eyes on these players and keep an eye on their career, and this year especially, and see how the year ends, if they can keep it up and if you expect them to keep it up next year. I know this was kind of a little bit of a different video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Nonetheless, I hope it was informative to you guys. Leave a like if you liked it. Leave a comment if you like commenting, I guess. But most importantly, if you're still here somehow, thank you.
I have $30,000 in credit card debt. When they call, I tell them I can't pay it back yet.